Friends and family, welcome to day 45, cycle 3, day 2 of my quest to crush aggressive diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, also known as DLBCL, ICD code C83.39, stage 4. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Let's get into status. So eating starts, obviously. Nausea was well controlled today. I think partly because I didn't have any naps, so I was able to nosh as soon as I started to feel not so good. Mouth pain, just a tiny bit, but the magic mouthwash is helping, so I'll continue to take that prophylactically and hopefully beyond. My weight is still at the top end of the range. Fluid intake yesterday, I did 84 ounces orally, additional by my fanny pack, my new buddy. So my total ounces was 96 ounces or 2.8 liters. I also figured out how to calculate ins and outs yesterday overnight. And it will be my overnight solution for not having to come upstairs just to pee. So based on that, my out was 2.1 liters, but it's not exactly an even, the measurement's a little bit off, so we'll get a better sense tomorrow. So Bill has these massive jugs for dialysis when we test his inputs and outputs and blood work and all this other stuff, but he has not been using that massive, it's like a 24-hour collection jug. And the opening is large enough that it's usable without any kind of assistance for females. So last night I just was like, wasn't feeling going up the steps. So I grabbed one of those jugs and I went in the bathroom and it worked like a charm. So I was able to go to the bathroom downstairs without getting anyone else possibly contaminated or sick. And then in the morning, I brought the jug upstairs to dispose of the material. So that was like a big double thumbs up. I'm recording the outs and I don't have to climb the stairs in the middle of the night when I have to go to the bathroom. So primo. And kind of normally I might roll over and try and just wait until it's time to get up. But they really impressed upon me the importance of, not holding at all, because that will cause damage to the bladder and or the kidneys. So when you feel like you have to go, go. And so I've really been trying to follow those rules. And luckily I pretty much stay home all the time, so that's not a crisis in any way, shape, or form. Okay, sleep. Sleep was not great. I've started my prednisone yesterday morning and last night and this morning. It's 100 milligrams twice a day. So it's a lot of prednisone. It's high dose. So my sleep was 6 hours and 11 minutes. I did feel a little sleepy at like 3, 4, 5 o'clock, like that typical afternoon kind of crush. And I was going to go lay down, but then it kind of passed. Not really sure what that's about. Okay, chemo symptoms. So I have a few. The neuropathy is there. It's a little more than it was a couple days ago, but not really significant. It's not really hurting or stopping me. Crocheted a lot today. The nausea I mentioned already is very well controlled by what I'm eating. And my mouth pain, not too much. Couple things I had noticed in the last couple days. It seems as though my eyelashes are decreasing as well as my brows. So far the brows are acceptable. They actually look pretty good. Like I went somewhere and had somebody do them. So I'm not complaining about that. But if it gets any worse, I'm probably going to have to make an investment in all that brow stuff. Because I never use brow stuff. I'm blessed with too much brow. I usually get rid of, go have somebody do them. I used to thread before the pandemic. So I don't know. I'm struggling with that right now because I just don't feel like that's a good place to be right now. All right. And then the other thing I noticed was night sweats. So that started last night. Again, the temperature in the house is hot from my perspective. Upstairs, I think it's set to 68, 69, 70 with the boys. But downstairs, Bill has it set, I think we're at 72 or 73. So from my perspective, that's pretty hot. However, just to put that all in perspective, Bill sleeps with a down comforter and I just keep the sheet on. And further, I have these little rice, corn heating doodads that you nuke in the microwave. And I regularly nuke those before he goes to bed so he can, warm up his core functions, whatever. I think he says he likes it on his chest and someplace else. That makes him like get cuddled up quicker. Okay, what else do I have? All right, movement. My movement yesterday, as expected, was not 7,000. It was about 4,500, and that was two main factors. While I was at dialysis, they mainly want you to sit in the chair while you're being treated. I don't know that it always was like that, but now that you're in a room with the people, they don't want to take any risks of you moving around. So they've separated the chairs and they want you to be pretty much stationary. I did get up to go to the bathroom once, but otherwise I was just sitting there from 9 to 12 or so. And then the second thing was my 2-hour nap in the afternoon. So between those two things and just kind of recovering from the treatment, I guess I'll say, I knew that my number was going to be low. I think I mentioned on yesterday's video, so that's okay. But I did accomplish a sun salutation with my fanny pack on and all my lovely wires connected to me. So I felt that was a big thumbs up for me. Last treatment I wasn't able to do that, but at that time the PICC line was much newer and still very aggravated. So I think that may be one benefit to keeping the PICC line in. It's now kind of established and it's not giving me grief. Okay, doctor news. No new doctor news, but I have a tip. A hack, I don't know what you call them. So prednisone, let me back up. When I take pills, I'm not very experienced. Bill just tosses them in his mouth and then he swallows and they all go down. That's how it happens to me. So what I do is I put fluid in my mouth and I pop the pills in one at a time, usually. So they sit in the middle of all that fluid in my mouth and then I swallow it down. That way they don't get stuck. The prednisone, that does not work worse. Sometimes they still get stuck and they taste horrible and it seems like they start to dissolve as soon as they make it in your mouth, whether you have fluid or just saliva or whatever in there. So I discovered this and I wanted to share it because maybe it will help somebody somewhere someday. I still take the same approach of filling my mouth with fluid, just enough that I can open it and get the fill in without spilling it down my face. But I dilute orange juice, probably like a third orange juice, 2/3 water, or something even more than that. But it's got enough of the orange juice taste that even when the foul taste of the prednisone hits, the orange juice overwhelms it and I'm able to swallow it. And sometimes I have to do several drinks to get it down without vomiting. But I am getting it down. So I figured let me share this knowledge with somebody. It might be helpful if you're struggling. And they're not massive pills, but they're round. They're not oblong. And so I guess they're just not well designed for getting them down. Okay. My mental health or headspace. I say overall today was a pretty positive day. I didn't really have too much negativity or doubt or anything like that. And I would say, in my heart, I feel like the treatment is working. Despite the fact that it's not pleasant and I'm not feeling like at the top of my game and it's starting to feel more and more. So I would characterize myself as hopeful. So here's today's quote. You may not always have a comfortable life, and you will not be able to solve all the world's problems, but don't ever underestimate the importance you can have because history has shown us that courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own. Former First Lady Michelle Obama. It seemed, kind of in line with my hope. And also acknowledging that it's always a cakewalk, right? But it's still important to be courageous and hopeful. And I think I characterize those. Okay, so let's get into the to-do list. Okay, so first I want to say I didn't think I accomplished very much today, but when I sat down and started writing the to-do list, I was like, wow, I did accomplish something today. Hold on, I thought of something else. I'm writing it down before I forget. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? I had the robotics call first thing this morning I mentioned to you yesterday. I cleaned and straightened the kitchen because the nurse was coming. I designed and created a new removable sleeve for my arm. So here it is. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's a little bulkier than the one I was wearing, but it does have the holes for the elbows, so it doesn't slide up and down. I think I showed you yesterday these pink guys, and they were just sliding like crazy, but I'm still using it because I don't know if you can see this. My PICC line starts right here, And then with all the connections they need for the chemo, it's almost it is, right? The end right here is hitting my Fitbit. That's just a little bit off my wrist. So all of this, and they're hard and heavy. And so this is helping so it doesn't flop around. But this is helping so that this doesn't, leave like my body and flop and pull and ouch, right? So I'm pretty happy. The bulky is because these are all little ties, so I can get it on and off easily, right? Without having to wait until they come to change the bag every day. Because right now, this wouldn't come off over the fanny pack is too fat. Much fatter than my arm. So I felt like this was a success. It took a little bit of time. I made it and unmade it a couple times and, so forth and so on. But I got it. The nurse came, she connected the new bag, and she changed my dressing. It's supposed to be changed once a week, and it had been changed last Friday. So today's Saturday. We were a little over, but it was holding pretty good. She also gave me some tips for showering. She said I could shower with the fanny pack as long as I can leave the fanny pack outside of the shower. That might be challenging because we have a really big shower, but I'm going to see what I can do to organize everything so it's on the right side and I can leave it outside the shower, fingers crossed. But she suggested that I wrap, so they give us these little, I don't know what to call them. They're kind of like plastic sleeves with elastic at both ends. They work pretty well for me, but it seems like some water does get in. So she said that something that worked well was also to wrap it, your whole arm, or this section of arm, I guess, in press and seal, which I happen to have some of. So I'm going to try that and then put that sleeve on top, and then the dressing stays dry. So like this morning, I took a sponge bath because I had night sweats. Did I mention night sweats? Yes, I did. Last night, and I just was feeling bleh. So maybe I can even get a shower in before next week. That would be quite lovely. Let's see. All right. Then I did relax. Obviously I did a lot of crocheting, so there was kind of, relaxing. I did the work to return the light. UPS is going to show up on Monday with my return authorization slip. Dun, dun, dun. So I'm all good to go there for Amazon. That was something I took off my to-do list. I did mix my magic mouthwash. And while I was doing the 8 syringes of magic mouthwash, I ended up emptying one of the bottles of medicine that goes into the magic mouthwash. I think it was my statin, but I can't remember. That doesn't matter. But I had a genius idea. Thumbs up. I don't know if I mentioned, I think chemo brain I might have a little bit, but it's not too bad because I'm still having some genius ideas. I'm proud of myself. I cleaned out the bottle, and then I put in all the 3 ingredients of magic mouthwash in equal parts into that bottle, which was a little small, but it will have about 10 5cc, 5 ml syringes I can fill out of it. So I filled my 8, and then I did this bottle that's the mix, and so when I empty a syringe, I can just go into the bottle I just made and refill it. So I have enough to go almost 8, 10, over 2 weeks. Thumbs up. I got this covered. I just felt like, wow, why didn't I do this first? It was much easier to fill the bottle and then shake that bottle than to shake it in the little syringe. So I'm pretty excited about this, even going forward. All right. I loaded the dishwasher. I created a shared grocery list in my family. So I think you heard, it's an effort to get everybody on the same page. We're going to put in an order. What do you want? Da, 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 da. So I made a Google Keep, which is it's a listing app that I use regularly. And I shared it with everyone here. And I said, okay, as you guys think of things that you run out of or you need, put it on the list. And the next time, whoever's going grocery shopping, if it's me or Dad or whatever, electronically grocery shopping, then we'll know what everybody needs or wants, right? So I think I added Newfoundland cream cheese, the 1/3 less fat, and sour cream. Bill used up the last of the sour cream while we were talking about it. Now I do have another task, which I did not do today, but maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Same thing, Google Keep. I want to create a today's ta-da list and just kind of have a running list of everything we have to do every day. We have to record Bill's dialysis. We need to set up his dialysis. We need to break down his dialysis, throw it away. We need to load the dishwasher. We need to straighten the kitchen. We need to vacuum, all those things. And maybe even a weekly one. And then anybody can go in and check off what, kind of claim it, do it, and then we can get everything done, I've been talking about doing that for a while. I haven't done it, so that's on my list to do. All right, so I think this is a natural transition to the to-do list. To do, I'm gonna work tomorrow on this week's summary, tonight and tomorrow, and I hope to get that up tomorrow. Cycle 1 and Cycle 2 compilation are still on my wish list, but I don't see them coming shortly. Feedback on purchasing the lights seemed to be maybe you don't need it. So if you guys think that this video is too dark, let me know and we'll change that up. And I still have a hope for a red hat, but it's at the bottom of the list. As a side note, it looks like we, Northeast, I think I consider myself to be Central Jersey, but in the Northeast are getting some pretty massive snowstorms, weather, coming tomorrow in night, Monday, and possibly even Tuesday, which I hope doesn't impact the end of my treatment. Sad face. And something I read said maybe up to 18 inches where we are. I'm hoping that's untrue. That would be quite horrible. Okay. Angel delivery. Thank you to the angels. I got orange sherbet. As you all know, that's one of my comfort foods, particularly as my mouth starts to hurt. And, my pseudo frozen sunshines will come into play as I want to eat less, in the coming week. So I was just about out. And when I went grocery shopping this week, they didn't have it at that store. And then Sam got a new headset that he can use for Zooming and Google Meets and so forth for school. So he got a headset with a little arm and so forth and so on. He's tested it a few times. He thinks he's all set for school, which starts on Monday for him. Bob started last week. All right, what else can I tell you? So Angel Deliveries, thank you. All right, so as always, thank you all so much for your love and support, prayers, good mojo, the power that you give me to continue this battle every day. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. We love you. Oops, heart. Kiss. Love you. Remember, every day is a gift. Live it.